Okay, we're back, as they say on television after the commercials. One of the major themes in all healthcare management courses is that aggregate costs are rising dramatically, and they have been rising dramatically for a very long time. And by aggregate cost, I mean the money being spent for medical care for everyone, by all physicians and hospitals and other healthcare providers. I'm not a numbers person, but it's a lot of money, and it's getting to be even more money rapidly. There are reasons why healthcare expenditures are increasing rapidly, and these are some of them. The population itself is generally increasing in the United States and most other places. And so if there's more people, you would expect there to be more need for health services, medical services, and therefore more spending. But not only is the population increasing, the demographics are such that they are driving healthcare costs higher. And by the way, I'm using healthcare costs and medical care costs interchangeably. I'm not splitting hairs here. I think personally medical care costs is the more descriptive thing that I'm referring to, but I'm not making the distinction between the two. As you know, people like me are baby boomers. We were born soon after World War II. There were a whole lot of us born, and we're all getting old together. And that creates a challenge and an opportunity for medical care providers, and it also creates a situation in which costs for medical care, particularly long-term care, are almost certainly going to skyrocket in future years. Nursing home care and other forms of long-term care are very expensive. Knee replacement, hip replacements, and all the other things that people are likely to need as they get old are expensive. Plus, for reasons we don't understand, Alzheimer's is rising rapidly. Many of the technologies we now have are called halfway technologies, which means they don't cure the problem, but they make us feel better. But we have to continue taking pills or doing whatever it is we need to do continually, because basically old people have a lot of chronic conditions that require expensive continued interventions. So, demographics are such and population trends are such that healthcare expenses are almost certainly going to continue to increase. Technology and specialization is also driving costs up. The Human Genome Project, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is going to lead to a new era of customized pharmaceuticals, which basically means that you won't just go to the pharmacy and get the same pills everybody else gets, but rather you and I and others will have medications created specifically for us. And if I were a betting man, I would bet that's going to be costly. It's going to be good in that those medications are going to work better because they will have been created with the knowledge of the genetic makeup of individuals for whom they are being created. But, I guess it's like the difference between buying a Ford and buying a Lincoln Continental you had built specifically for you. It's going to be expensive. Whatever we do in terms of reform is not likely to reduce overall costs because of a reality that somebody refers to as demosclerosis. In other words, a hardening of democracy or something like that. Basically, and this is another course, and I don't need to get deeply into this, but at the policy level, we really cannot create good policies because good policies are going to step on somebody's toes, some interest group that is in the position of being able to prevent the policy from becoming enacted. And this is a incredibly serious problem. It is a crisis of democracy itself. It's a crisis that faces our nation, but it is not the focus of this course. But basically what I'm saying is we're not going to be able to pass laws, policies, regulations that will effectively reduce costs in the best ways because those things simply cannot be passed given the nature of pluralism and democracy as it has evolved today. Every policy, no matter how well crafted, is going to create perverse incentives for somebody to do something in order to advantage the system for themselves. And this is another reason why costs are going to continue to increase. I don't think I'm a pessimist. I think I'm a realist. I want to be an optimist, but I do have my concerns. Okay, I think a distinction needs to be made in this course between managerial decision-making and clinical decision-making. What managers decide and what doctors and pharmacists and technical people decide, they're all decisions, and all of those decisions can be helped through the use of information systems, but we need different systems for different kinds of people. And there are different kinds of systems for different kinds of people. And a large part of this course will be sorting out those different kinds of information systems, how they are similar, how they are different, and whom they are intended to serve. I'd like to mention briefly, and again, I'm not sure if I'm up against my 10-minute limit or not, the interplay between quality, access, and equity. People will say that we want quality, we want access, and we want equity. Well, and of course we want cost containment. There's no way. Something's got to give. Equity is a wonderful goal. But in a democratic system like ours, I don't think people who have better healthcare systems are going to willingly give up the quality of care that they already have in the name of equity. But again, that's more on the political side, but it's the reality. I think I've probably done enough, and I'm probably up against the 10-minute limit. Read everything you're supposed to read, introduce yourselves, communicate with me through the email system within Blackboard, and let's have a good and productive time together. Thank you.